Never used a machete before, as you can tell. Oh, shh. In a minute, I'm gonna stop and look where we're at on GPS. Something out there. Heard something. I'm gonna pull up my GPS. See where we're at. Oh shit. You're not gonna believe this. We're actually going back towards the trail. We're not going up. We're going sideways. Oh my God. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you for the save there. I forgot I was muted. I appreciate that. I should have done a sound check. What the hell was I saying? So yeah, I was saying hi to everybody. Delight, Nando, Lula, Dominica, Vic, Baby, Jimmy, Marie, Delight, Lexa, Heather, VM. Okay, you guys hear me now. Okay, man. Good. So this building collapsed, man, in Miami. It's a place called Surfside. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm also kind of testing the stream, making sure everything is good because I need to tell these people that everything's working fine. So we're going to be doing that too. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes too with other stories like the Samuel Olsen. I'm going to be following up on that. I know the Benjamin Rivera thing is going on today. I'm actually going to talk to somebody after I get off the live stream. And there was something else. So this situation, let me show you my screen. Well, maybe let's do this. Let's read a little bit. Oh my God. Read a little bit about the building, when it was constructed, some of the issues before we start watching the clips. And I was kind of wondering too, have you guys ever had a fear of like being in any of those buildings? Like, are you one of those people that are completely comfortable or not? Because I remember the times that I've been like in New York, in those big tall buildings, and sometimes you can even feel the building kind of swaying back and forth, which I think is by design actually, but it's creepy as hell. And I had one of my exes, she lived like in a high rise too, and I mean it's just a weird feeling being that high up in the sky in a building, you know. Let's do this. Oh, the other thing I'm following too, by the way, is the whole Ronnie situation. I am following that. I know there's the penalty phase. There's a couple of clips that are out and I just collected them, but I'm waiting till more comes out before we do a conversation or a live stream on it. So this is a 12-story building. It's an oceanfront condo tower called the Champlain Towers South, partially collapsed. The town of Surfside. If I could show you, let me see something. I'm going to show you a quick map. It looks, I think it's like in a nice area of Miami. Google Maps. And it's like, let's see. Champlain. Okay. Surfside. Direction. There it is. Okay, well, it's by the beach actually. I'll show you right here. Like by the beach area. They actually marked it on Google. Miami building collapse. That's interesting. I didn't know they actually had that. Like they marked the collapses or something. But yeah, it's right by the beach. We're going to hear a little bit of, we're going to watch some of the video clips. There's going to be some people that spoke on this incident and some people that were talking about, because I guess it's so close to the sand in Florida and the soil and everything. But it's a really old building as well. And I think they were doing renovations on it, supposedly on the roof. But this is the building right there. And we have things like that all over Florida, pretty much, like by the beach. Yeah, they say Florida's gonna be under the water one day. But so Surfside, which stretches from the Atlantic Ocean west to Biscayne Bay, it's located on the same barrier island as Miami Beach, just south of luxury Bal Harbour Shops. So the Champlain Towers South Condo at 8777 Collins Ave was 40 years old. The 12-story, 130-unit building was completed in 1981. Was the first project to be built in the area after Miami-Dade County placed a moratorium, Jesus, on the new developments during the 1970s. Surfside struggled financially during the 1970s, and its water and sewer systems had degraded. The county required the town to upgrade its water and sewer systems before approving any projects. Champlain Towers South Associates, the developer Champlain Towers South, paid $200,000 in the late 1979, half the cost for a new sewer system, with the new system in place construction soon started on the project. Once completed, international buyers flocked to the building. A lot of foreign people moving to South Florida for political stability. Oh, okay. That we had in the United States, he said. They wanted to live on the beach. So the amenities, it's a 136-unit building with a pool, gym, barbecue area, tennis courts, parking garage, which was a newer thing compared to hotels where you just drove up to the entrance. Oh, so at that time, I guess it was kind of like a newer thing. This looks like a clip from back then or something. Be the first to get the best of the last. We're closing out the last 27 of our elegant condominium residences in the ocean in Miami Beach. Wow. This is the advertisement from the July 20th, 1980 edition of Miami Herald. They promoted the Champlain Towers. Damn. County inspectors were reviewing the 40-year-old building. According to the Miami-Dade County Building Code, all residential buildings are required to undergo recertification process when they hit 40 years. The process includes inspections to ensure the building is habitable and safe. The building was in okay shape, said a realtor with Compass, who has multiple listings in the building and spoke with a condition of anonymity. They were just starting repairs to upgrade. The association recently hired an engineer to develop specifications for electrical and structural changes needed to obtain the recertification and requirement of Miami-Dade County, but had not yet started construction, which I thought that I heard they were already working on the roof or something was going on the roof. Nearly 70% of the Champlain Towers was occupied by primary homeowners and second homeowners, said the Compass realtor by email and text. Units range from 1,500 to square feet to 2-bedroom homes and 2,200 square feet 3-bedroom homes. Prices range from $500,000 to $1.2 million. Damn. Penthouse unit 1012, a Compass spokesperson said, sold for $1.1 million in January 2020. Damn, imagine spending that much. Living at the Champlain Towers came at a hefty price. Condos recently for sale in the building were listed for $600,000 to $700,000. According to multiple real estate websites, one 3-bed, 2-bath unit on the 9th floor, about 1,700 square feet, sold on June 17, 2021 for $700,000. Now imagine just recently buying this place and you're excited and you're moving in and it's not what you think it is. Oh, the Facebook thing, hopefully that came out right. Might be wrong. Let me check Facebook real quick. I didn't. Okay, I think it's. Oh no, the title's wrong. I don't know why Facebook did that. That's weird. The video on Facebook is just called Test. No, we're more than that. Thank you, Regina, for the stars. Appreciate that. Thank you. Gracias. When I reach the goal, I get bonus stars from Facebook. So, let's play this clip here.
Nicholas Balboa was walking his dog when this happened.
This
Nicholas,
is a.
good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta fix that too.
We understand this was 1:30 this morning. What did you see?
Yes.
Nicholas, I'm sorry, one moment here. For the first time now, We are sharing with our viewers some security camera video that shows the...
So this is the building actually collapsing here on the side. I have some other clips too where we can see some aerial footage, but pretty insane.
Collapse around that hour. And what I want our viewers to notice is that it appears on this video, Nicholas, that the center part of the building collapses first. And then about 2 or 3 seconds later, you see the right side of the building come down after that. What did you see, Nicholas?
So I was a little bit further down the street. The actual collapse was not visual. Like I couldn't see it from my vantage point. But I could see the plume of dust and everything that came, bellowing out as the air was displaced. But otherwise, I mean, I could feel the ground shake. It sounded like thunder. I thought a storm was coming until, literally I felt the ground shake a second time when the other half of the building fell. So it was definitely
so
something you see out of
it fell in 2 pieces.
So it was coming until the air was displaced. But otherwise, I mean, I could feel the ground shake. It sounded like thunder. I thought a storm was coming until literally I felt the ground shake a second time when the other half of the building fell. So it was definitely it was like something you see out of a movie.
Nicholas, I know that you then took your dog home, got him secure, and then returned to the scene. What did you see then?
So when I got back downstairs, I saw that emergency crews were moving in already. So they started pushing people back. They were asking me to move back. I guess just being nosy, I decided to move around one of the apartment buildings to the north of it, and walk along the beach. It was at that point where I could clearly see the building and where it collapsed and the debris and everything like that. And there was no police presence or firefighters on the backside of the building yet. So it was just myself and just a few other onlookers.
Can I ask you one other thing, Nicholas, while we have you? So this part of Florida, tell me a little bit about the neighborhood, because sometimes you'll have in Florida, people spend the winters there, but maybe they'll go to another location for the summer months when it's so hot there. But this neighborhood might not be like that. Are there more full-time residents that live in this particular neighborhood, maybe even in that building?
Yeah. So really, all of the buildings in this area are apartment buildings. The only it's a boutique hotel that's next to it, and that was the building immediately north of it. Other than that, the rest are all residents. Surfside it's a small little kind of suburb of North Miami Beach here. So it's maybe like 2 miles in length, if that. So it's very quiet. It's all residences. So yeah, I mean,
Nicholas,
I would never.
Where is your home? How far are you from this building?
So I'm actually I'm here from visiting from out of state. So I'm staying with my dad right now. So this occurred on 88th Street, and so we're on 89th. So I was about a block away.
Yeah, not far. Have you noticed or observed any construction that was happening on the roof of that building or around it?
Not that I remember or recall recently.
Nicholas, they've set up a phone number for people to call in case they're trying to reach family members. Did you witness anything at the scene of people trying to, figure out a way to help? I know that the fire services said they are still trying to do search and rescue on the scene.
Yeah. So, like I said,
thank you, Jackie.
There was no police presence or firefighters on the backside of the building yet. So myself and one other gentleman, we were effectively the first on the scene at the back of the building. So all the firefighters were evacuating the hotel to the north of it, and they were beginning to work on the building to the south of it, and try and get who was in the building in front out. Yeah. So yeah.
You're a good man, Nicholas, to return to the scene, and you witnessed a lot. I know you've been up for many hours, and it's a hard thing to have seen.
You okay, Nicholas?
Yeah, I just hope that anybody would do the same for me. This wasn't an act to try and be heroic. this wasn't anything like that. It was just, I was back there. It was extremely quiet. And so I could just hear somebody yelling. And as I decided to get closer to the building, I could tell that it was a young boy. And so he was just, he was screaming and saying, "Can you see me?" Because he was sticking his arm out of the rubble. Christ. And so that's how we saw him. We saw his fingers wiggling. So, I let him know that we were here, and he was just screaming, "Don't leave me, don't leave me."
Wow.
And so it was at that point,
I'm about to get into the numbers in a second here after this video clip plays, or finishes. I mean, I'm going to list some of the recent numbers from Twitter. I think this is the mayor of somewhere, Manuel Bogarri. I don't know where, Miami, or that's not Miami. Oh, he's a news reporter. That was a mayor.
I just hope any decent human being would do that. They would stay and regardless of the situation.
So you were talking to him?
Yes.
Yeah. For how long?
I led police and fire to him. I've said it. If myself and the other guy, if we weren't back there, I have no idea how long it would have been until they found him.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Could you hear it easily, or was it were his cries muffled from the rubble, or how would you describe what you heard?
So, given his location, he was towards the top of the the rubble heap. So I would say he was probably on one of the upper floors. Just how far away from the building that he was, and then like I said, he was towards the top. I've shared images on Twitter and to probably some of your colleagues.
This is what I was wondering too. I talked to somebody about this earlier today. When a building collapses, is it better to be on the top, I guess? Right? Because I guess the people at the bottom is probably going to be in the worst if everything's coming down on them. I guess that makes sense, but I don't know. I was wondering about that.
Already. So, I have clear pictures of him and, where he was at.
About how old do you think he was? He is, excuse me.
He told me he was 10.
Only 10 years old.
He told
his
you
mother
that.
was, well, yeah.
Did you hear anyone else, Nicholas?
Wow.
Well, he said that his mother was with him. I couldn't hear her and I couldn't see her. So I don't know what her status was. But I pray that she's all right, because he said it was just him and her.
Wow. Nicholas, job well done. Thank you for sharing your story. I know you're going through a tough time. I can see the expression on your face.
What's up, Xavier?
Thank you, Nicholas.
You're a good man. Thank you, Nicholas.
Okay, so some of the more recent numbers. Let me just pull up, and then I have some other clips to show you guys. Let's do this. Okay. I don't know what happened here. All right. Oh, I didn't realize I had that many things opened up. All right. The most recent post from this reporter that I found here. So I know I heard there's at least one person dead for sure. That's what the news report said. But so far what they're saying is 99 people unaccounted for from the Surfside building collapse. This post says here, the Miami-Dade Police Department says 99 people are unaccounted for. Oh, you heard 7 dead? All right, I'm going to have to look that up then. Deborah, there is sound. I'm not sure why you're saying no sound. Unless you're way back in the video, there's sound. 99 people unaccounted for, and then 53 people have been accounted for. So, Jesus, that's a lot. That's a lot. And so this guy, let's check this post real quick. Michael Altman, Unit 1101. His family has checked the hospitals and filed a report. He's still missing. One of the people. Oh, wow. This is a long thread. Marina Azan. Family member says Marina has been living in the building for about 20 years, hoping she's one of the ones in the hospital. The entire Pettingill family, an entire family missing. Right? Dr. Brad Cohen. This is the photo from Lisa Petrello, who spoke with the Dr. Cohen's loved ones at the Family Reunification Center. So they do have a Family Reunification Center. I saw that down there, man. It's like where all the families are going. I guess they're going there to meet up to try to find out the status of their family. Moises Rodan, 28 years old, Unit 308. This is from his Instagram. Unit 308, yeah. Raymond and Mercedes Ergelis, both 61. Missing. There's a lot of people. Nikki Langsfield and Louis Sadvanik. Oh, there's a picture right there. Bro, how crazy is that, right? And if they're alive or they're just trapped, I mean, and limited oxygen too, right? Depending on where you're at. Limited oxygen. Angelo, Julio, Teresa, Velasquez, and Roslyn. Teresa was visiting her parents. Imagine that, just visiting your parents on a trip. And the whole freaking thing comes down. Wow. Judy Spiegel, 66. Her children tearfully tell CBS correspondent, the reporter, they are not giving up till she's found alive. I think that's it on the list. That's cool that she's doing that. Crazy though. Yeah, so far 99 people unaccounted for. This was about an hour ago. I'll see if I can find the deaths, if there's even a listing of that. What I'll do too in the meantime while I check that, Ron DeSantis spoke, and there were some other people that spoke. I'm gonna play this from Tampa 10, some of the aerial footage we can check out while I look up the deaths. All right. Yeah, I think this was around, like maybe 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning. Yeah, because I was sleeping, and when I woke up, I had a couple of messages from people. Somebody actually emailed me and like, yo, I hope you're not in that building. So yeah, it happened while everybody was sleeping. These people were sleeping probably. I had no idea this was coming. And that whole sinkhole thing too, if you guys have been watching on the channel, like the whole sinkhole thing is kind of something too, right? Like just, we've seen a couple of them, and it happens here in Florida too, a lot, and all over the world, but all right, so let me find the deaths in the meantime. Okay. So far, all I see is at least one dead. I'm sure maybe there could be more, but from what I'm seeing on a quick search, they're saying one so far. Numbers are going to change and numbers are going to update. And for some of the people too, they don't know if they were actually in the building or not in the building. They're trying to verify all that information too. There could be people that were out or away or on a trip or something. So I thought about going out there, but my time is kind of limited today. I'm gonna go pick up Maddie tonight. And I was just like, from what I saw some of the clips, they're not like letting people get close really for safety reasons. And really salute to all the, the people from the city, like the firefighters, paramedics, law enforcement. Really salute, because that shit can come, the rest of the building can come back down. They're risking their lives too, going back in there. I kind of wanted to go because I was thinking like to see it in person. It's one thing to watch it on the screen or whatever, but to see it in person, it's just got to be like jaw dropping, just And it's so weird that how just that part came down. Isn't that weird? It's not that like the whole thing collapsed, like just that side. I'm sure they're gonna have to have experts come in and like take a look at this. I've always had like a thing with like not like buildings, high rises, and being in them, and like the shit moving back and forth, and would I even live in one? It does look like a bombing, doesn't it? Like a Syria thing. Let's see. Let me give you guys a close-up too of the so far this is really the only collapse video I've seen. I would have thought there'd be a lot more, but just how many cameras is everywhere now. This is, Jesus Christ, bro, that's insane. It's almost, oh my God, dude. Oh, and the rest came down. So this is the actual, holy crap, dude. Let's play that again. So it's like the middle part gives in first, kind of, it looks like. And then the other side here comes down as well after. Yo, could you imagine like you're sleeping in bed, like you're sleeping in bed. I mean, the people that went down here immediately, you almost don't even have time to react. But these people here, they're like, what the hell is going? You can't even move. You can't even process. Holy shit. And this is in 2021. I know the building is supposedly old, 40 years, but even 40 years, like somebody mentioned, it's not that old, I guess, in terms of buildings.
Jew, death to Jews.
Oh God, the hell are you doing? Oh my God, what was that? Anti-Semitism rally held in Hong. Oh Jesus, you just got this whole video taken down. My God. A couple more clips too. But so far, also no stream issues. I think I might stay with the Comcast business, I'm thinking. Just for the security, just for the insurance type of thing. I don't want to have to deal with issues for weeks on end. But no issues so far. Let me show you another clip of the boy being rescued. We saw that. Oh, and there's this guy too that, okay, that's why, okay. Let me show you the clip of this boy, and then this guy, I think it's a firefighter. He speaks about the situation too. We can look at that. Okay. Thanks for the likes. Appreciate that, Facebook. And if I'm somebody that's living next to the building that came down, or if I'm somebody in the area, I'm thinking it's a terrorist attack. I'm thinking they're coming down to kill us all. Maybe we're bombed or something. Yo, I would be like in a heightened, freaked out state of mind. Yo, salute to those people that go out and do that. That's incredible, man. Put their lives on the line. When the rest of the stuff can come down. Damn, dude. Look at that. I don't think I'm ever going to move into a building like that again. Check your profile. Which profile? Facebook? Somebody else. Okay. There's the boy. Oh, how to switch to dark mode. Okay. Wow. And I think the other guy said that they don't know about his parents. You know, I don't know, man. Here's a firefighter too. I think he's a firefighter. Yeah, a fire chief, Dave Downey, talks about the catastrophic partial collapse. Let's check that out.
Process that takes place with building collapse, search and rescue. First, the units on scene were removing those that were on the surface, lightly trapped, that we could get those folks out. Then you get into the more methodical void search and rescue, and that's what's happening right now. And it's a very specific step-by-step process. I mean, it's a large area of collapse. They're literally looking for needles in a haystack. And so they'll be running our search and rescue dogs over the rubble pile. And if there's any areas of interest expressed by the canines, they'll bring other search materials in, such as listening devices and cameras that can get into these void spaces. They are absolutely still conducting rescue operations. This type of collapse doesn't lend itself to large void spaces, but there's still the possibility of void spaces and survivors in those void spaces. So it's going to be.
So he said this type of collapse doesn't lend itself to much void spaces. I want to play that again. And maybe I have to look that up, what that means, that terminology. My assumption, I'm thinking void spaces would be just gaps or spaces within when a structure collapses and people are maybe in these pockets. And that's how some of them can survive. Let's see, what are void spaces? Building collapse. Okay.
Doesn't lend itself to large, this type of collapse doesn't lend itself to large void spaces, but there's still the possibility of void spaces and survivors in those void spaces. So it's going to be a process.
And when you say void spaces, you mean an area where somebody could be, oh, I'm sorry, Chief, but you're saying, just to put that in plain English, that's a spot that somebody could be in, not potentially with some open space around them, right?
Exactly. And so it's the absolute last thing they're going to do is start trying to remove large pieces of rubble. And some people are saying, why aren't they pulling that debris out? But that debris causes everything else to become unstable as well. And they're still working in an environment where there's part of a building still standing.
And as the mayor told us this morning, some concern about the stability of that piece of the structure. Chief, just before we brought you in here, I'm not going to play it again. We're not going to show it again, but we showed some surveillance video of what happened. And I wonder if you would read anything into that, meaning it looked as though the middle portion of the building collapsed, and then one of the wings. If we can go back to that shot we were just showing, it looked like a computer animation rendering, rather, around the actual building itself. It looks like it's an L-shaped building. Is there anything that investigators, Chief, might read into the way that this building came down as to what caused the collapse itself, which is one of the key questions still outstanding?
Sure. I mean, that's going to be the great mystery to all of us. I mean, all the efforts now are focused on life safety and rescue and then recovery. There'll be a time to figure out when this building came down. In my 40 years, I've never seen a collapse like this that didn't involve some sort of, earthquake or something else. And so this is really a unique type of collapse.
Standing.
You hear what he said? That's so interesting. Into thin air. Thank you. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Did you hear what this guy said? I mean, I'm not going to go into the crazy. I'm going to absorb all the information as it develops. And this is part of the information, right? So it's interesting.
This building came down as to
when we just saw this now, we're watching. It was weird. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know how these things are supposed to happen. The building structures collapsing and all that kind of stuff. But it was weird that like the middle of the thing seemed to come down first. And you literally have one half of the building standing and the other like portion that was less standing while the middle collapsed. And then you see the other side kind of come down, the little smaller portion. And this thing, as you can see here, is like right by the beach too, and the sand. It's sand, and it's probably not the best. You know, I don't know how all this stuff works. Maybe I can talk to somebody that knows about this stuff, or maybe they want to come on sometime and explain it, or I could look it up eventually and we can find it. But this thing here, this building is right by the beach, and not only just the beach, but it's like an island. It's like this here is this Miami place, and then wherever this is, and then to connect or to get to this area, you have to take like a bridge. I think I've been to this area once. And look, this is where Fontainebleau is. That's where that woman went missing, where she was found. You got to get across to this place. So not only is this place separated from the mainland, but then you're on the beach. And you think about it, think about the structure of this place too, or where it's placed. You're on an island. There's a literal island here. Water in the back, water in the front. You know, I'm really kind of curious to know, once the experts dig into this, what happened and how this came to be. And what's going to happen, like with Florida too, with these big buildings. I mean, was there issues there? Was it just the way that it was built? I don't know. Let's keep playing.
What caused the collapse itself, which is one of the key questions still outstanding?
Sure. I mean, that's going to be the great mystery to all of us. I mean, all the efforts now are focused on life safety and rescue, and then recovery. There'll be a time to figure out when this building came down. In my 40 years, I've never seen a collapse like this that didn't involve some sort of, earthquake or something else. And so this is really a unique type of collapse and just a tragic event.
And I wonder why now, right? Why now, after all these years, without some sort of outside force, right? Like he said, like an earthquake or something else. Why now, after all this time? Was just something over a long period of time that caused this? What's going on in the middle of the building that the middle of the building falls in itself first too? And if you've seen, I don't know, too, just kind of thinking about different things. You guys saw that we spoke about it briefly in one of the videos, that massive sinkhole. I mean, there's smaller ones you see all the time. Oh God. I don't want to detract too far from the video that we're talking about right now, but let me show you this real quick too. This was in 2020. There's been some ones that were recent. Oh my God, wait till you check out some of these other sinkholes. And I don't know that it has anything to do with that, but the way it collapsed was weird.
In this video, we will take a look at some incredible footage of sinkholes captured from all around the world. After heavy rain in Baltimore, a giant sinkhole swallows an entire city street and half a dozen
This is from the YouTube channel, The Unbelievable.
Parked cars. Luckily, no one was in the cars at the time.
Wow. I've never seen that before. Holy crap.
Two buildings in southern China vanishing into a sinkhole. Fortunately, no one was injured.
Denise said a mall, or who said? Somebody said a mall collapsed previously. Jesus. What?
A motorcyclist escaped with only minor injuries after riding into a sinkhole in China.
Oh, shit. Holy crap. Donna, what hurricane was it that lots died in nursing homes in Miami? The most infamous one I can think of is Hurricane Andrew. I wasn't here in Florida for that time, but there was another one that happened. I can't remember the name of it, that I was here for it. And we thought it was the end of the world. The way the news was going on about it, we thought South Florida was going to be gone. The hurricane, when the news put it on the map, it was literally covering the entire state of Florida. Like you couldn't go anywhere. It was recently, that the one I'm thinking of right now, where people were literally trying to leave the state and they were getting stuck in traffic and stuff like that. It was insane. And I know with that one of the hospitals that I used to work at, they have like this off center right across the street from the main hospital that there was these elderly patients in. Like they kept them there. I don't know what happened, but they were left there by themselves. Apparently, allegedly, the power went out. Several people died in there. I don't know where the medical staff went or if they had any or what. It was, and it's literally across the street from the hospital. This is right here in South Florida. There was stories about that. So I don't know if you're talking about that one. It might be that, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's other incidences where that happened.
Not gonna lie, my heart's racing. So I was going with it.
Oh, my bad. Was it Hurricane
Footage
Katrina?
from the National Corvette Museum security cameras showing the sinkhole collapse which destroyed 8 Corvettes.
No, it wasn't Katrina. Katrina, there was an incident in, okay, Katrina had an incident. I guess this happens all the time. Katrina had an incident with the elderly people died in a memorial system or whatever it was over there. And I know for sure Florida nursing home hit by Hurricane Irma. I think it was Irma. Okay, I think we've seen enough. We get the idea, right? There's sinkholes, the world is ending or whatever. Really quick too. This is the one I'm talking about. Absolute nightmare. Four former Florida nursing home staffers charged in 12 Hurricane Irma deaths. Okay. Appropriate pre-storm preparations gave way to the chaotic response in Florida. In a nursing home where these elderly patients were suffocating a heat, 12 patients died in Hurricane Irma, September 2017. So I'm not going to go that far into it, but I was affiliated at one point with one of those companies. And the whole thing, like they let this, supposedly, I don't know what happened to them. I guess they left them and abandoned them. I don't know. Let me see what else we got for you. Okay, we got, saw that. Real quick, I'm not going to show this entire thing because it's like 2 hours. But this was recently, they were out there recording. It says that at least one person has died. Something that I heard the news reporting too is that like all this smoke out of nowhere started coming. Like after the fact, just recently. I'll see if I can find real quick while I play this. Let's see. Let me smoke. Two security cameras. Yeah, all this smoke started coming. There's another report that came out an hour ago that says 3 dead in collapse. I'm sure the numbers are going to increase, you know. Jesus. Oh yeah, let's take a look at this guy. So let me show you another one. And there's a guy that lives in that area that talks about it too, about what happened. See if we can get this going.
Collapse near Miami.
We know at least one person is dead, and it is feared the death toll will dramatically increase as dozens of people remain unaccounted for. Just into our newsroom, this security camera video. Now, remember, this is from an adjacent condominium. Stunning. It captured the moment of the collapse, a 12-story complex simply turning to rubble. It almost looks as if it was an intended implosion. Here's ABC's Rena Roy with the latest.
And that's what we were just talking about.
And
that's what the firefighter was talking. It's just kind of weird. I mean, I've never sat down and watched compilations of how buildings collapse, but that whole middle thing was just kind of weird. I don't know how that middle part falls in on itself while this small little piece here hangs on for a little bit before it comes down. I don't know.
Our newsroom, this security camera video. Now, remember, this is from an adjacent condominium. Stunning. It captured the moment of the collapse, a 12-story complex simply turning to rubble. It almost looks as if it was an intended implosion. Here's ABC's Rena Roy with the latest.
The massive search and rescue efforts continue in Surfside, Florida, just north of Miami Beach, after a condominium building partially collapsed early Thursday morning.
We had a 12-story, 136 unit apartment complex that had sustained a partial collapse. The northeast corridor of the apartment had collapsed, approximately 55 apartment units.
The Miami-Dade Fire Rescue says more than 80 units were sent to the scene.
They are in search and rescue mode. They are trying to identify survivors. I know they have made contact with some, and they are doing everything they can to save lives.
First responders rescuing a young man from the rubble using a bucket to take people off their balconies.
We still have people standing upstairs that don't need to be evacuated.
Barry Cohen thought it was a thunderstorm.
We opened up the door from our apartment, and there was a huge pile of rubble and dust. When we got to the bottom of the stairs, we couldn't open the door because the steel had bent in the door.
The collapse sent a cloud of debris throughout the neighborhood. Cars as far as 2 blocks away coated with dust.
There's a third of the entire building that you cannot see from the street, but it's completely gone in the back towards the beach side.
Nicholas Fernandez owns 2 units in the building. 3 close friends were staying in one of those condos.
I know for a fact that my unit is it doesn't longer exist. I'm not even concerned about my unit. I don't care. It's material. I just want them to be good.
Officials say they're concerned about
Bro, imagine going out. Imagine like you live in this place and you're just like, I don't know if I should go out, whatever, I'm not sure. And then you just happen to go out, you come back and the entire shit is gone. Whole place collapsed.
approaching storms contributing to a potential secondary collapse at the building and within the debris pile. They add they still don't know how many people could still be trapped. Rena Roy, ABC News.
MH asked about, I think it was MH, asked about the sinkhole thing, which is a good question. I've wondered that myself. From what I can see and what I can pull up briefly, give me 1 second. And I've heard about this, but so, let me get a little closer. Sinkholes are all about water. Lowering of groundwater levels can cause a loss of support for the soft material in the rock spaces that can lead to collapse. Sinkholes can result from seasonal changes in the groundwater table, freeze and thaw of ground, and extremes in precipitation. Specifically to Florida, I'll pull this up too real quick. Move this over a little bit. Okay. Reports of these ground chasms have been swelling in the past few years. Geology helps explain why. A sinkhole from 2012 that swallowed the back of a home in Shoal Drive in Hudson. At the time of the picture was taken, it was in Pasco County Fire. Pasco County Fire officials said the sinkhole is currently 40 feet wide and 20 feet deep. This was in 2018. The portion that I wanted to kind of read. Let me see. Where was it? Okay, here we go. So really, kind of briefly, in 2017, by stark contrast, at least 32 sinkholes were reported by that independent news site. At least 8 homes were affected, plus a country club in a busy intersection, a Lowe's home improvement store, the local American Legion post, in the largest world. In just the first 3 months of 2018, at least 11 sinkholes were reported by the Village News. All before sinkhole season even started. I didn't even know that was a thing. Sinkhole season? There's such a thing as sinkhole season, just as there's tornado season and hurricane season. It speaks to the many factors that contribute to the threat. Underlying all of them is the fact that Florida is built on a bedrock of carbonate, primarily limestone. That rock dissolves relatively easily in rainwater, which becomes acidic as it seeps through the soil. The resulting terrain, called crust, is honeycombed by the cavities. When a cavity becomes too big to support its ceiling, it suddenly gives away, collapsing the clay and the sand above to leave a carnivorous hole at the surface. The main trigger for sinkholes is water, which they say Florida is going to be underwater. I seen I think it was Flossie or somebody sent me a thing a while back, and I've always heard of it. They say California is going to break away, the whole state supposedly, and Florida is going to be underwater, like a large portion of it. The main triggers for sinkholes is water, too much of it or too little. The normally moist soil of Florida has a stabilizing effect on crust, but during drought, cavities that were supported by groundwater empty out and become unstable. During a heavy rainstorm, the weight of the pooled water can strain the soil, and the sudden influx of groundwater can wash out cavities. Central Florida was in a severe drought in the beginning of 2017, followed by an intense rainfall. So that's kind of the gist of that. Let me see here. What else did I want to show you guys? We saw that. This one I think we should watch too. Yeah. The clip that I pulled up.
Florida, Charles Burkett. Mayor, thank you. I know you're extremely busy at this hour, having just met with the governor. Please update us on the situation there.
We took a walk around the building, and
35 years, sir.
It's a disaster area. It's a disaster area. We have no idea how many people were in the part of the building that had collapsed, and we're hoping to determine that number by relatives calling to the number that you're showing on your screen. Probably, I can't see the screen, but we're going to have to piece that together.
Mayor Burkett, it's John Roberts here along with Sandra. Are there any initial theories as to why this building, after 40 years, suddenly went down?
No, there aren't. And it's, you know, buildings in America don't fall down like this. And there is there's going to be a reason why this happened. You know, they were doing roof work, but roof work doesn't cause buildings to fall down either. And, you know, we've got an amazing response. The governor is standing in front of me right now, talking to some folks here. And,
mice infestation?
You know, he's offered all his support. The White House has called. They've offered all their support. Debbie Wasserman Schultz has been instrumental in providing resources. So, listen, we're all set. All we have to do is save people now. And we've got guys out on that pile of rubble now, desperately searching for people.
Mayor, have you been able to confirm that the rest of the building can stay intact enough that those that are trying to rescue people are safe enough to do so?
No, we haven't been able to confirm that, although, you know, the first responders went in anyway. And, risk their lives to bring people out, which was amazing. I mean, that's the only bright spot in this whole story. But we're diligently doing the search and rescue right now, and we are making arrangements for the folks that are displaced. That's our primary job as it is right now.
Mayor, the last count, we heard that there were 51 people missing. I mean, what we see there, that pile of rubble on our screen, is eerily reminiscent of what we see in earthquakes around the world. And I mean, earthquakes obviously take a huge toll on human life, but sometimes when buildings come down, they also create spaces. We heard about that 10-year-old boy who was trapped in the rubble and rescued. Are your rescue teams getting any indication that there may still be survivors inside the rubble of that building?
I'm going to forget you guys in the comments.
We were out there at 2 o'clock this morning. We had the dogs show up around 4. We did an initial pass, and we did not get any hits at all, which was devastating.
Damn. Oh, my
but
God.
the little boy did show up a little bit later, which was super encouraging. And they're out there right now doing what they need to do.
Mayor, are these teams working on any common theory about what happened here?
Not right now. It's all search and rescue right now. I mean, what's happened has happened, and we'll figure out what happened once we make sure we can save as many lives as possible.
Right. Of the 51 people, Mayor Burkett, who are missing, are they confirmed to have been in the building, or might they have just been away and people don't know?
I wouldn't rely on that number. I don't know where that number came from, and there's really no way to determine if that number is accurate because we don't have any logs of who was there and who was not there. So we're going to try to piece that together over the next several days in order to understand who was in the building.
Are there any numbers you can confirm? We have obviously the one we've reported.
This video is a little bit outdated, but I've already spoke about the numbers. Let me check this guy one more time to see if there's any other updates from his Twitter. No. 1 hour ago. Yeah, 99 people are unaccounted for after the Surfside Florida building collapse. 53 are accounted for. That's just crazy. And then we just heard the firefighter talk about the whole void and stuff in spaces. That type of collapse doesn't lend for that much of spaces where I guess people could survive. And crazy, man.
How many people are still missing? All efforts are going toward what we're looking at right now. But at this time, we still don't know exactly how many people.
Second floor. This is our hotel. We are right there on the second floor. The building, one of these huge buildings, gone. Right here beside us, the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. Look at the building, it's gone. It was however many stories, it's just the parking elevator. The whole building's gone, it was beautiful. Gone. We're right here on the second floor.
Audio cutting in and out. I'm not sure if you're talking about me or not, but everything on my end shows perfect. This is one of the most perfect streams as far as connection and stability, besides the beginning. So, but this guy, the video that I'm playing, his audio is kind of cutting in and out. So,
Building's gone. Right here beside us, the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. Look at the building, it's gone. It was however many stories, it's just the parking elevator. The whole building's gone, it was beautiful. Gone. We're right here on the second floor. Look at, oh my gosh. This is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. They're just now pulling up. Cops just getting here, firefighters, the first one here. We just had to evacuate our hotel. We're on the next floor up, right in the middle. This is our hotel. We are right there on the second floor. The building, one of these huge buildings, gone. Right here beside us, the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. Look at the building, it's gone. It was however many stories, it's just the parking elevator. The whole building's gone, it was beautiful. Gone. We're right here on the second floor.
He's covering the microphone on his phone with his hands.
Oh my gosh.
So one more thing I wanted to show you guys. One more, I wanted to read an article to you guys that I pulled up, and then we'll call it a stream. I have more stuff that I want to do today. I'm a little cram-packed. I got to go pick up Maddie tonight. When I end the stream, I'm going to talk to somebody about Samuel Olsen with that whole story. And I'm also following the Ronnie situation. And also yesterday, I was out there in Lauderhill where the 2 bodies were found of these 2 girls and the whole mother situation. And I'm going to put a clip out after this live stream, but apparently that video I shot where I was talking about, it seems like maybe the mom lived there or had that police car across the canal. That's where I was at yesterday. It came out in the news after that. That's where they were searching and pulling out all this evidence. So let me pull you up this. No, not that one. For some reason, I can't open this up separately. It makes me want to like sign up and pay. I don't want to pay. But just a couple of little tidbits, because we were talking about the sinkhole stuff and the ground and Florida and soil and whatever. Collapsed Miami condo has been sinking into the earth as early as the 1990s, researchers say. Right? That's pretty interesting. A Florida high-rise that collapsed early Thursday was determined to be unstable a year ago, according to a researcher at the Florida International University. The building was constructed in 1981, reclaimed wetlands, has been sinking at an alarming rate since the 1990s, according to a 2020 study conducted by somebody, Shimon, a professor. When he heard the news that the condo had collapsed, he immediately knew which building it was. I left this article for last. I took you guys through the sinkhole thing and the firefighter. It's just the weirdness of how the building collapsed, just to take you right to the end here, where there was this interesting article where they're talking about that building and that land has been having issues for a while, apparently. Wdowinski said his research is not meant to suggest any certainty about what caused the collapse of the condominium. The building was sinking at a rate of 2 millimeters a year in the 1990s, and the sinking could have slowed or accelerated since that time. In his experience, Wdowinski said even the level of sinking observed in the 1990s typically results in impacts to buildings and their structures. He believes that very well could have been the case for the Champlain building in the 1990s, based on his findings. Daniel Deitch, who served the Surfside mayor from 2010 to 2020, warned against drawing conclusions too soon, which you shouldn't. I get that. But the collapse is weird. The collapse is very weird. The town of Surfside requires commercial and multifamily buildings to be recertified every 40 years. We talked about that, which involves electrical and structural inspections for a report to be filed with the town. What's this? I didn't read this whole article. In a 2015 lawsuit that alleged building management failed to maintain an outside wall, resulting in water damage and cracks, the owner who filed that lawsuit, Matilde, had previously sued over the same issue and said in court filing she previously, the management company paid for the damages in the earlier case, she said. Cracked walls or shifting foundations can be clues that sinking has affected the stability of the structure. So it looks like this was something for a while. Apparently, maybe some issues going on for a while that seems to have been neglected, allegedly.
Well, you look at that. We got
Terry, thank you. Are you new or you've been here? I can't tell anymore. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Welcome to the dark side.
Welcome, welcome. And here's another factor that we spoke about, the impact of sea level rising and flooding. Over the past several years, Wdowinski and his team have researched which parts of Miami are sinking. I wonder if that docs person is still here. You guys are too stupid. You guys are idiots. I gotta go to another channel. Are you still here? So, over the past several years, Wdowinski and his team have researched which parts of Miami area are sinking, primarily to identify where the sea level rise and flooding could have the most impact. They've obtained historical data from European satellites, which have mapped the area by bouncing signals down the ground and back to identify shifting elevations. They published the results in April 2020. The data originally collected between 1993 and 1999 showed that most of the Miami area was not sinking appreciably, save for a few spots around the region. Wdowinski says most of those occurred in the western part of Miami, where the elevation is lower. The level of sinking at the Champlain Condo was unusual, he said. Wdowinski said that he doesn't believe that anybody in the city or state government would have a reason to be aware of the findings of the study. The bulk of it focused on potential flooding hazards and not engineering concerns. The study mentions the 12-story condominium. Oh, really? The study's mention of the 12-story condominium was regulated to a single line. And that's it. So I don't know. We're going to wait and see what comes of this. It's a horrible thing. I hope that the people that are missing, hopefully they're, I don't know, maybe somebody was traveling, maybe somebody's just stuck and they can get them out. Hopefully there's not a whole lot of deaths, but the way that guy spoke about it, the firefighter, and the gaps and stuff, that there's not much room for that in this type of collapse, doesn't look good. Excuse me, sorry. Doesn't look good. Well, I saw an article now that said 3, I believe, dead. But somebody else said there's more. So those numbers are going to change. Don't stick to just one number. It's going to be updating as we find out more information. But yeah, crazy, horrible. So, and that's it, man. I just wanted to bring you guys that this afternoon to kind of talk about that. You never know when something crazy like this is going to happen. It could be you, it could be your family, friends. And I don't know if it's like Mother Earth kind of coming back to take what's hers. The sinkhole thing too, I heard that happens a lot with I thought like farmers and stuff, like people that are messing around with the soil and the ground and the water and all that kind of stuff can affect different things. So yeah. Just checking out the chat real quick before we end. But yeah, thank you guys for coming in. The connection was great today too, so I guess I have to tell Comcast it's fine. And we'll see how we proceed from here. So I'm going to post a little clip soon with yesterday's story, a little mini update. And and I have to make a phone call with regards
look at that.
Samuel Olsen.
We got a new member.
So that one's old.
Welcome to the dark side.
I don't know why. I got to figure out why that's happening. Yeah, the 2 girls drowning story. If you haven't seen that video, let me post a link. I thought yesterday's live stream was really, really good. I'm not like trying to toot my own horn, but I thought I did a really good job because I went out there in person and I went to the neighborhood and I spoke with people and I gave people a visual that they may not normally have. And not only that, I broke down a story. One of the residents that lived there, she told me about the house across the canal that looked destroyed and is abandoned. I guess they haven't renovated it. She said 2 children died there, but the actual story is 1 child died there. And we pulled up the whole story and the whole situation, and the father actually got charged. The mother never got any charge. The mother left the candle burning in a closet. I don't understand that. And she left. And so supposedly the father was there to watch the kids, and he left them too. So they're both wrong. But apparently he didn't know there was a candle burning in a closet. I don't know who puts a candle to burn in a closet when you have kids at home, but he's the only one facing charges. Apparently this was like an old story. So you never know what you're going to find. But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Take care of yourselves. Please hit like. I would appreciate that. Subscribe. Let me just give a quick shout out to the people. Thank you, Kira, for subscribing. Johnny, thank you for liking the stream. Q&A, thank you for subbing. Beth, thank you for subbing. Latina, I think I'm sorry, Mr. Super Chat. Thanks iKKEdMeL for covering this tragedy. Thank you, Latina. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Les, thank you for the like. Adrian, thank you for the sub. Anthony, sub. Gina, like. Stephanie, Yolanda, Christina, we keep going on and on. But yeah,